I have got a really nice one for you here today. This is a game that I played last night, uh, and this is obviously playing Kid, because I don't play this ship enough. Taking a quick look at the matchmaking, threats to my ship, there's a Graf Zeppelin, Dmitry Donskoy radar, Cleveland radar, Chumfon is annoying but not too bad. Paulo Emilio, Friesland, Jaeger, and Benson for destroyers. No submarines, which is very lovely. The Cleveland, despite having radar, isn't going to be too bad to deal with because it is only a 9-kilometer radar. So, it's a bit easier to play around. You obviously have to account for it, but it's not as threatening as the Donskoy radar, which goes out to 12 kilometers. So, also a quick little heads up. I did alt tab a bunch of times during this game. Uh, so if there's like any weird looking stutters or breaks, that's probably why. Although I don't think that happens in replays. It shouldn't anyway, as far as I'm aware. But anyway, just keep that in mind. If you see any like weird looking breaks, just I probably alt tab during that. But anyway, enough of that. Right now, I honestly really hate spawning in the middle of maps like these because I hate having to pick which side I want to go to. But in this case, I did decide to go to A, and the main reason for that is because we already have two destroyers over here at D. So they should be able to hold their own, assuming that they have hands, which is, it's random. It's not always the case. But the fact that there's two of them over there, we already is the main reason I decide to head over towards A. So right now, my goal is I obviously want to play 4A. There's only two radars, and the destroyers I'm really not too worried about because I outspot Apollo Emilio if I see it. All I have to do is just turn and kite away, even though it is faster than me. Uh, I have pretty much all my team here, so I can just go back to them as soon as their smoke expires. He's dead. So Paulo Emilio is not too threatening. Friesland is can be a scary gunboat, but I'm not too worried about it because it is relatively reliant on its smoke. Jaeger will outspot me, which is actually really annoying. And speaking of that Friesland, he did manage to catch ours, which I don't know how that happens. And our Fletcher decides to sit broadside to torpedoes. So, yeah, not a great start right here. But I do know that the Benson torpedoes are down, so I'm going to pretty much do the exact same thing that I've just shit-talked this Fletcher for, which is sitting broadside. But, like I just said, we do know that the torpedoes from the Benson are down, so it is relatively safe. And then right here is where I get radared, which immediately tells me that this Donskoy is probably somewhere right here, based on the fact that, well, first of all, there's shells coming from here, but also the fact that he hasn't been spotted anywhere out here. Because if he was out here and trying to farm, he would be getting spotted by this Drake, this Sun, or this Boise, who, by the way, this Boise is like full sending it. I don't know what is going through his head here. But, what the? Oh, that's thunder. Don't worry about that. It's fine. Now, did I mention there's a cyclone about to happen as well? Yeah, that sucks. Launching some Make-A-Wish torpedoes. You never know your luck. I highly doubt they're actually going to hit, but, really, I'm not going to be using my torpedoes for much of anything else. Because these two battleships right here, the Zeton and however that's pronounced, they're more than likely not going to be pushing, which is why I'm okay with expending my torpedoes as Make-A-Wish launchers into the smoke there. Uh, these battleships are most likely not going to push because their strong side is over here. And this lot right here is more than likely about to walk towards sea, so they don't really need to push. All they need to do is just kite us away while the rest of their team wraps. So that's that. And this Boise is going to go down, and honestly the only reason he lasted as long as he did is because of the zombie heal. And also, this North Carolina somehow got dev struck by a Jaeger of all things, so that's really impressive. So things are not looking very good right now. So what do we have to work with here? We have 3 kiting ships, and we have a push force coming down this side. Jaeger was last seen in B, as with the Massachusetts, and I am on RPF right now, which is telling me that this Benson is somewhere. He was last spotted with his bow pointing towards this side of the island. So what I'm expecting is this guy is most likely going to be heading towards A, as well as this Jaeger. And when I was playing it, I'm really not positive on whether or not it's the Jaeger RPF or the Benson RPF. I'm kind of shaky, and I am thinking it's the Jaeger, which is why I have my guns pointing the way I am. But I'm just going to launch some Make-A-Wish torpedoes, not only at the Jaeger, but the Massachusetts was also spotted down there as well. And that's when A gets flipped, and I do end up out-spotting this Benson. And I don't shoot here intentionally, because I'm expecting this Benson to slow down in his smoke, but he just doesn't do that. He's just going to full speed, and he's just going to full speed and do this. So, yeah. I'm just not even going to comment on that. He basically just swagged his smoke for no reason and killed himself. So, thanks, Benson. Your contribution to this game will be forgotten by your team, but will be memorialized forever on YouTube as the beginning of the end here. So, we do manage to pick up a couple of extra kills. I do pop a heal as well, because I was obviously taking some damage, and I pop my heal mostly to increase my effective health pool during that engagement. I do end up getting radared by this Donskoy, which is really annoying. We end up losing our carrier to Apollo Emilio of all things, because the fucking carrier just sat there waiting for Apollo Emilio to get him. So, you know, that's always great. So, we have a unspotted Jaeger that's somewhere. We have a Friesland. We have Apollo Emilio, who's probably going to die to this Harlem because he used his smoke to get toward the carrier. He did end up going down, but the damage is already done, so not a good position to be in. I do have a good shot here on this Massachusetts because the Cyclone is closing in. So he's most likely not going to think about torpedoes. He thinks I'm unspotted. I'm not providing a target, so I'm just going to go and cap. Or go to A. I'm going to get this cap, and I'm going to walk at the remaining enemies. Because I'm a Massachusetts, and that's what I do, because I'm a dog. So, anyway, C is obviously being flipped, and the fact that I did not spot a Friesland is immediately telling me that this is a Jaeger in this cap. And I do try and outspeed these torpedoes. I almost slowed down for them, but didn't end up working out that way. Ended up taking a torpedo because I'm bad at the game. But on the bright side, this Cyclone is starting to take effect, so it's just me versus this Jaeger. Because the Friesland is not going to be able to support him because he can't see me. And those Massachusetts did end up eating some of those torpedoes. And these Jaegers are very annoying to fight sometimes because they sit so low in the water that you don't always get really good salvos on them if your dispersion cucks you. Like you saw a few like 800 or less damage salvos on them just because a bunch of the shells landed far or landed short because that thing just sits so damn low in the water. But anyway, that's really just me making excuses for being bad at aiming, but we're gonna ignore that. So this Friesland, I'm honestly not too worried about. I don't know what health he's on at this point in the game, because I wasn't really paying attention to that. So I don't know what health that Friesland is on, or if I can take him on in a fight. So I'm just going to leave C to this Harlem for right now. If the Friesland steps into C, our Harlem will be right there to deal with it. And what I'm looking at right now is I want to go and provide whatever support I can to our remaining team over here, who have a Massachusetts, 2 battleships, and a Donskoy walking at them with carrier support. So what I'm looking at is I want to be right about here, because right here, these guys, right, these enemies are all being forced to angle toward this Sun, this Bismarck, and this Drake. So if I'm able to get on their side, either from right here or up here, I'll be able to get a broadside shot on them. And don't worry about the rudder control right there. That's just a replay bug. I'm just trying to get into the render of this battleship right here, because I highly doubt that this guy's actually going to turn his guns to shoot at me, because he has a Bismarck, a Sun, and a Drake right in front of his head. So he's more than likely going to be worried about dealing with that guy than he is about me. And I obviously have this island right here to protect me from this Donskoy. Ideally, I would have liked to be up right here to get a broadside on this battleship and possibly even the Donskoy, but the fact that the Donskoy does carry radar, that really is just not a risk I can afford to take right now. Because if I die, I'm our last destroyer. I'm the fastest ship on our team, and we will not be able to get to these cap circles in time. Not that the cap circles at this particular point look like they matter, because the scores are nearly 800 to 300, although they ended up trading. The Drake managed to torpedo both of those battleships, the Massachusetts and the Wujing, so that is very, very good. So right now, what I need to look at is I need to deal with this Friesland. And also, that did end up being Donskoy RPF. You noticed how I was still being RPF'd, and then it dropped off of me. If that was the Friesland, I would still be getting RPF'd right now, because this Friesland is in C, because he just capped it. So that is an RPF Donskoy. And right now, I'm just going to hold on to my heel. If I were to face check this Friesland, I want to obviously I want to kill him without trading, but I would, if I have to, I would at very least like to trade at worst. But this Friesland is such low health that it's not going to end up mattering. He ended up smoking up, which is honestly not the best move for him to have made. He would have been better off just fighting me with his face, because even though he did get the hydro off, all I had to do was just accelerate a little bit and I would be undetected, and then he would be blind. So yeah, I mean, it's really kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, but he would have gotten more damage on me if he had not smoked up and just went to town with as much firepower as he could muster during the time he had left. So could have, should have, would have, didn't. There went my last heal. And right here is what it is a heavy influencer of what I'm about to do, because looking at the situation right now, it's not a good look, but we do have over 5 minutes of the game remaining, so we do technically have the time left to be able to win this game on points with the cap circles. as long as we can get there in time. And this is one of those instances where you really wish you had an engine boost instead of Def AA, but oh well. So, with this Harlem about to go towards B, I know he's about to go towards B, and this battleship and the Harlem just capped A, and I know the Harlem is looking to head to B. I'm just going to head to D because I'm the closest ship to D, and I'm the fastest remaining ship on our team. So, factoring both of those in here, and the time remaining in this game, we do have the time left in order to be able to win this game on points with the cap circles, especially with this Donskoy about to get run at by a battleship and farmed a little bit by a Harlem. I think the island is going to block line of sight pretty soon, but he did take a couple of airstrikes right there, and he took a salvo from the battleship. So right now, this Donskoy's primary goal is going to be to not die and defend B, but he's on such low health that this Harlem is definitely going to be able to take him in a fight, and he can't just let the Harlem have B either, because then they're going to have no caps whatsoever. They'll have no points incoming, and we'll have all the points incoming. And that is pretty unlucky right there. 190 health. This Harlem's doesn't have any airstrike range or firing angle, so it is going to be on the battleship to finish this Donskoy off. But as far as I'm concerned, once we have decapped, it's pretty much it's game. So once we have decapped, like the score timers don't work here because it's a replay, but we will not be winning this game on points with the 3 caps. Even with B being contested and not generating points, we'll need to capture B in order to actually be able to win the game on points. So basically, with B being stalled, these 3 caps are not enough to win on points with the time remaining. We need to capture all 4 in order to win this game. So that's what I'm looking at doing. I want to try and mooch off of this base cap a little bit, but it's not going to happen. In retrospect, it probably could have if I took a shorter route, but I think this is one of the moments that I did alt-tab a little bit, so oh well. Right now, this CV is basically screwed. Like, he could go and reset this Harlem, but I'm also heading over there, and I have 3 charges of my smoke left. And then he also has a sun just running at him. So this guy is screwed. This is absolutely about to be game. So this was a pretty impressive throw from the enemy team. Could they have won this game? Absolutely. Should they have won this game? Absolutely. They had pretty much every single advantage. They had pretty much all of us rounded into this quadrant of the map. We lost our CV pretty early on. We lost 2 destroyers right off the bat. We lost a battleship right off the bat, as well as a cruiser that just walked in and killed himself right off the bat. So immediately we were 4 ships down. We were 3 caps down, or 2 caps down, and then 3 caps a little bit after that. And at one point, we're even quadruple capped. So not a great look for the enemy team right here. This was absolutely their game to lose, and they threw it so hard. But I'm not going to complain. But what I think this game highlights, as well as yesterday's, was you don't necessarily have to do anything particularly outstanding, anything particularly flashy, which, by the way, this Harlem had a really good game. You don't have to do anything super flashy, super fancy, or anything. You just have to play with the mindset of, I'm looking to win. What can I do to accomplish that. What bases need to be capped? What kills need to be gotten, like on the Benson and the Friesland and the Jaeger. What bases need to be capped? Like with I capped A, C, and D. So it's just getting into that mindset of I'm looking to win and looking for opportunities to impact the game to lead to that. So even though it wasn't a very high damage game, if you look at the detailed reports, I did kill 3 destroyers and took a lot of HP off of 2 of them. That was a little bit of like a more of just a low health finish, but it was a kill nonetheless, and he was tier 9, so that's nice. But just going after destroyers, denying caps when you can, and just above that, don't give up and don't lose hope. Keep on playing to win, no matter how hopeless it looks, because you never know. The enemy team might end up throwing it all in the end. So that is going to be it for today. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you've learned something, or you've gotten a good laugh out of it, or maybe all 3, who knows. So on that note, that is it for today, and I will see you tomorrow.